What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you are new, please hit the subscribe button if you are into budget, casual, just friendly, free-to-play content. I'm doing daily uploads on this channel for Master Duel content, deck profiles, gameplay, everything that you want to see. So let me know what you want to see and hit the subscribe button if you are interested in content like that. Today, I have a Dark World deck profile for you guys, and I know I'm not the biggest channel in the world, but if you have been around for a while, you know that originally the name of the channel was Dark World Yu-Gi-Oh, which archetype-wise, Dark World is one of my favorite archetypes in the entire game. I played with it way back when it first came out, and it is just near and dear to my heart. So I'm trying to put a little bit of a modern spin on it with the card pool that we have available to us, and we'll just hop straight into it. So Dark World is discard the deck. All of the main deck Dark World monsters have effects that trigger when they are discarded by effect. Not for cost, unfortunately, like the Dangers do, but this deck is still really fun to play, really just casual friendly, really easy to pick up and learn and get into Yu-Gi-Oh that way. But we'll go ahead and get into it. So we're starting off with 2 Ceruli Guru of Dark World. If this card is discarded by a card effect, it special summons itself to your opponent's side of the field in face-up defense position, and then when this card is special summoned by the effect of a Dark World card, your opponent must discard 1 card. So most of all the Dark World cards have secondary discarded effects if they're discarded by an effect of an opponent's card. So when it's special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, its effect becomes your opponent, as in you yourself must discard a card, so it can trigger the secondary effects of your Dark World monsters and trigger the secondary effect, which can get you even more advantage, such as this. For instance, if this card is discarded, Brow, the Huntsman of Dark World, normally you can draw 1 card, but if it's discarded off of the effect of an opponent's card, you can draw 2 cards. And we play 3 of the Brow, just because it is such a good advantage engine to have, such an easy way to, pitch it and just keep going through your deck. So we're playing 3 of those. After that, we are playing 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld. It is a Fiend. It's a level 3. We are playing a couple of rank 3 exceeds. When it's normal summoned, you can special summon a level 3 Fiend monster from your hand or deck, but its effects are negated and it can't be used as synchro material. We're not playing any synchro, so we don't have to worry about that. But the main target is going to be Fiendish Rhino Warrior, and the main reason being is that it protects your Fiend monsters, and your Fiend monsters cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, you can send a Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is awesome. And we're going to be binning most of the time our big old Grapha down here. So we play 1 of that just as the target off of Tour Guide, which is cool. After that, we're playing 3 Beige Vanguard of Dark World. It just has 1 discard effect. If it's discarded, you can special summon it from the graveyard. It's just a really easy way to get it out, get bodies on the field, and go into a rank 4 play if you wanted to do that as well. After that, we're playing 3 Snow Unlighted Dark World. This is your searchers. So if it's discarded by card effect, you can search a Dark World card and add it to your hand. And then if it's discarded by an opponent's card, you can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon that target in face-up defense position. So most of the time, you're just going to be going for that first effect, which can, search out any of your Dark World monsters or cards, because we do play Dark World spells. After that, we're playing 1 of the Silva and 1 of the Gold. They're not super great, honestly. If they're discarded, you can special summon them out to the field. The secondary effects is that you can rip 2 cards out of your opponent's hand and shuffle them back into the deck. Gold, you can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls and then destroy them. They're good in their own rights, but I wouldn't run them normally. I think I would replace them with a different card called Lucent. I think it's Netherlord of Dark World or something like that. But Silva and Gold, just super iconic for this deck, so they're kind of must-haves for it. Just really cool. After that, the big daddy right here, Grapha, Dragon Lord of Dark World. Same type of deal. If it's discarded, you can pop a card on your opponent's side of the field. Doesn't have to be face up, doesn't have to be just a spell, just a monster, just a card on your opponent's side of the field, which is great. The main effect, though, if it is in the graveyard and you control a face-up any of the Dark World monsters, you can return that face-up Dark World monster to the hand and then special summon out Grapha from the graveyard, which is awesome. So you're able to just continually get advantage by getting out your big boss monster in Grapha. Big 2700 body, which is really nice. And then the secondary effect is that You can look at a random card in your opponent's hand, and if it was a monster, you can special summon it to your side of the field, which is cool. It doesn't really all come up a whole hell of a lot, but the Cerulea can trigger those effects like I was saying at the beginning, so there is that. So we are playing those monsters. After that, we're playing the 1-ofs, of course, Regeki, just free, something new that you can get, just a classic card, just a board wipe on your opponent's side of the field. Monster Reborn, of course, you know, Monster Reborn and Foolish Burial. We want to see Grapha in the graveyard as often as possible so we can get him out as quickly as possible. After that, we're playing 3 Dark World Dealing, super easy card. Each player draws a card, then each player discards a card, and because it is discarding by effect, we can trigger all of the Dark World monsters from our hand and go into further plays there. After that, we're playing 3 Allure of Darkness. All of our monsters are dark except for the Fiendish Rhino Warrior, so we don't have to worry about that. Draw 2 cards and banish dark from your hand, or if you do not have any in your hand, you can see you send your entire hand to the graveyard, so definitely be careful when you're doing that. Charge into a Dark World. The new support that was released out of whatever the hell it was called, Phantom Rage, I think it was last year. Target a level 4 or lower Fiend monster in your graveyard and special summon it, then discard a Fiend monster. So just a really good way to get your engine going. Super easy and fun. I wish it didn't have the restriction of targeting a level 4 or lower. I wish it was just any old Fiend. But you know, then I guess BA would be too broken. Am I right, guys? Sorry. After that, we're playing 3 The Gates of Dark World. The field spell, all Fiend type monsters gain 300 attack and defense, so it boosts up everything, makes Grapha 3k beater, and then once per turn, which is not a hard once per turn, by the way, so you can activate multiple of these if you can. Once per turn, you can banish 1 Fiend type monster from your graveyard and discard a Fiend type monster, then draw one. So you can activate the discard effect of a Dark World and then draw a card, so you can just continually keep getting your advantage. Gateway to Dark World, it's a quick play spell. It's basically just a reborn for the Dark World archetype, but you can't special summon other monsters that turn you activate this card, unfortunately, which means that if you want to play this, you're going to want to play it on your opponent's turn because it is a quick play spell, fortunately, which is nice. So just strategic use of that. After that, we're playing 5 traps. We're playing 3 Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Tribute a dark monster with 2500 or more attack and declare 1 type of card, either a spell or trap. You can look at your opponent's hand, all spell and traps they control, and all cards they draw until the end of the 3rd turn after this card's activation. Destroy all those cards of the declared type. So this does a lot of things. Obviously, it gives you knowledge of what your opponent has in their hand and what they have set on the board. And also, if you call spells, 90% of decks are just going to be decimated. And then 3 turns after that, they're still not going to be able to use any of the spells that they have, which is really nice. So we play 3 of this, and we're going to be tributing off of the Grapha, which is good, and we can just go from there. And then the last 2, we're playing Dark Smog. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, discard a Fiend monster, and if you do, banish it. So it's like a DD Crow effect, kind of, for monsters, and then we are able to continually discard off of that. So this is the main deck. This is what I have put together. It's a lot of fun. I love the Dark World archetype. We'll go ahead and get into the extra deck, which is really where the bread and butter of this deck comes together. So the main engine that you're going to be getting into, number 100, as well as the number 38, the Dragublion and the Hard Earth Dragon. So Dragublion is 2 level 8 monsters. This is what you're going to be going into most of the time. The effect of the first effect, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Fine, whatever. You can detach a material, take 2 dragon number monsters with different names from your extra deck and or graveyard, except Dragublion. Special summon 1 of them and attach the other 2 it as material. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon other monsters or declare an attack except with that special summon monster. So you're either going to be going into a Hope Harbinger, which is a spell negation, and then you take it and attach it as material, or the Numeron Dragon, which is an OTK machine. You detach and it gains 1000 attack per rank on the field. So you'll have Dragublion, which is an 8, and then of course the Numeron Dragon, which is 1, so you'll have 9000 on the field. And just really easy for OTK lines. And you can use like the effect of Grapha to clear up the board, to pop their board before actually committing to the attack. And then you can also go into the Heart Earth Dragon, which is kind of puts your opponent on a clock. It can't be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from attacks involving this card. During your opponent's end phase, you can detach a material from the card, banish all cards your opponent currently controls that were normal or special summoned or were set this turn. If this card is destroyed while it has Exceed material, you can special summon it from the graveyard, and it gains 1,000 attack for every card currently banished. So really cool. It puts your opponent on a clock, and then you can go from there. So that's the main line that you're going to be going into. Everything else is just supplementary. Leviar the Sea Dragon, detach detach material, target one banished level 4 lower monster and special summon it. So just really good extension. Phantom Knight's a break sword. It's just another generic level 3 that you can go into off of like Tour Guide and Phoenix Rhino Warrior. You can detach and target a card you control and a card your opponent controls and destroy them both. And the rest is just Phantom Knight effects. After that, we're playing number 60, Daguerre's the Timeless. It's a mini graceful charity, so you can detach 2 materials and then skip your. You have to skip your next draw phase, but you draw 2 cards and then discard a card, which is an effect, so you can trigger your Dark World monsters, which is nice. Playing 1 Hieratic Sun Dragon Overlord Heliopolis. It's generic level 8. Or generic rank 8. Once per turn, you can detach a monster, tribute any number of monsters from your hand and or side of the field, with a minimum of 1, and destroy an equal number of cards on the field. So it's non-targeting destruction, which is really nice. So getting around non-targeting are cards that can't specifically be targeted, which is really nice. Playing number 23, Lancelot. Again, just a really easy thing to go into. This card can attack directly while it has Exceed material, which is really nice. So you can go into this and then slap a Zeus on top of it, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls and destroy it, which is good. And then once per turn, during either player's turn, when a spell or trap card or another monster effect is activated, you can detach an Exceed material from this card and negate the activation. So the only downside with this is that it is mandatory. So when something happens, you have to do that. Other than that, it's really good to get to attack directly, get over your opponent's big boss monsters, and go into plays there. Went over the Hope Harbinger. Dingirsu is just non-targeting removal. It sends, when it's summoned, you can send one card your opponent controls to the graveyard. So it sends, doesn't destroy, doesn't banish. It is non-targeting, just removal, which is awesome. After that, we already went over Dragulion and Heart Earth. We are playing the big, awesome, the best Xyz support ever released, the Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. So if an Xyz monster battles, you can just slap this guy on it in main phase 2, which is awesome. And then, detach 2 materials, send every card other than Zeus to the graveyard. Every card on the field other than Zeus to the graveyard, which is great. Super good card. And in the replay that I'll show, you're going to see just how awesome this card was. We're playing the Nightmare package, of course. Cerberus, all of them have share the same effect, where if they are link summoned, discard a card, and then Cerberus destroys a monster in the main monster zone. Nightmare Phoenix destroys a spell or trap, and then Unicorn targets and spins back a card on the field. So just a little nightmare package, and then another big boss monster. You can replace Borrelsword with access code or whatever you want to play. It doesn't really matter. But I find that Borrelsword, just because it has an element of interruption and is really good at OTKing, can really do do really good. It can't be destroyed by battle, and then once per turn, you can target an attack position monster and change it to defense position, and then it can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. So, and then your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's effects activation, and then once per turn, when this card declares an attack on a face-up monster, you can activate the effect that until the end of that turn, this card gains attack equal to half of that monster's current attack, and then that monster's current attack is halved. So, just really good way to beef it up and then make that second attack and go for game. But guys, this is the deck that I have made. We'll go ahead and get into a replay, but thanks again for watching, and please hit the subscribe button if you are interested in this sort of content. Like I said, I'm going to be coming out with daily content, or at least trying my hardest to, so stay tuned, and I will see you guys in just a second with a replay. All right, so taking a look at this replay, I really enjoyed this match. I say that a lot with a lot of these replays, but I really did have fun with this one. So we're going to be going first here. We activate the Foolish Burial, the one of we dump Grapha because we want to see Grapha in the graveyard as soon as possible. Activate our copy of the Gates of the Dark World, normal summon out the Beige, and then activate the effect of Grapha in the graveyard to summon it out from the graveyard. And then the Gates boosts our Grapha up to 3,000. Now, this turn one is a little bit lackluster, but we got a big body on the field. We'll see what our opponent can do going from here. So they go ahead and set 2, special summon out a couple Photon monsters, and then go into a Starliege Lord Galaxion. Activate the effect of Galaxion to special summon out a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from deck, and yes, they are playing the Photons, which is a really cool deck. So they go Battle Phase, activate the effect of the Galaxy Eyes to banish itself and our Grapha, and then get in for a clean 2,000. So at the end of the battle phase, we get our monsters back, of course, and then they will go ahead and pass it back to us. So we have 2 back row and a big old quick effect banish that we need to do. So we activate the effect of Tour Guide, and then they're going to chain the effect of Eternal Galaxy to summon out a big old Exceeds Photon monster from the extra deck when they go into the Photon Lord, which is an Omni Negate. Or a monster negate, something like that. Anyway, they activate the effect to add a Galaxy Expedition from their deck to hand, and we go ahead and overlay into a copy of Phantom Knights of Breaksword. Breaksword effects, we're going to attempt to target our Grapha as well as the Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord to destroy them both. Of course, they're going to go ahead and chain to negate that. Fortunately, it didn't destroy our Breaksword because the material that they detached was not a Galaxy monster. So from there, we activate the effect of the Phoenix Rhino Warrior because it was sent to the graveyard to dump another copy of Grapha. From there, we go Battle Phase, active an attack with Grapha. They're forced to use the effect to banish both of their dragon as well as Grapha, and then we attack into the defense position number 90, which from there, of course, we take a little bit of damage. At the end of the battle phase, we get our monsters back, but after that, main phase 2, we can go into a copy of Zeus, and then activate the effect of Zeus, detaching both materials and sending the entire field to the graveyard, which is great. And from there, we're going to activate the effect of Charge into a Dark World, bringing back the Phoenix Rhino Warrior, and then pitching a copy of Beige. Beige effect activates to special summon itself from the graveyard. From there, we can activate the effect of Grapha, returning the Beige from the field to hand to special summon itself. Activate the effect of Monster Reborn to bring back that second copy of Grapha. From there, we can overlay into a copy of Dragoblion effect to detach and then summon a copy of number 38, the Hope Harbinger, attaching something as material, and then from there our opponent just decides to scoop. So what I was hoping to demonstrate with this replay was just how, even if you don't get off to the best start, as long as you can continue to play, this deck has a lot of follow-up and things that it can do going second, going third into the further game. So thank you guys for watching so much. This has been a really fun deck for me to build, and I hope it has been informative for you as well. Definitely a super casual deck. Not going to be able to go too far with it, but it's a lot of fun to play. I definitely had fun with it. I will see you guys tomorrow with more Master Duel content. Have a great day.